Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. This video I'd like to show you part 5 of Ubuntu. Ubuntu has been designed by Deidre Uys from Look at What I Made and is a Scheepjes Crochet Along 2018. I'm using the River Washed XL kit, so that's the large kit in combination with a 5mm hook. I'm using the same hook size as last week. So whatever hook size you have for your kit, if you have one of the other kits, use that hook size. In part 5 we'll be extending the half diamonds we made last time. So up to part 4 was here, so this is the extension that we're doing in part 5, and we're also extending the flower. Here and there it is a little tricky, but I'm really aiming to show you exactly how to make this flower and how to connect it to our work. So I really hope this is a useful video for you. For flower row 1 you need contrast color 5. Now for me it's this blue purple color. You have the right side of your work facing. We're going to attach our yarn in the second stitch from here that we have here, these half trebles on, with a slip stitch. If you're in doubt, just turn your work to the back and you see, okay, that was because remember we worked from the other side, row 8. That was the first stitch, and then this here is the second stitch. And if you turn your work back to the front, you can see exactly which loop that is. So it's that loop there, that's the one you're going for. So attach your yarn there with a slip stitch. What we're going to do is we're going to work chain 3 and then work 2 treble bobbles in each of these spaces. Chain 3, and then we come to the first chain 4 space. Here we're going to work a 3 treble bobble. So that's yarn over, so in essence 3 trebles worked together. So yarn over in that space, take off 2 loops, yarn over in that space, take off 2 loops, yarn over, pick up and take off 2 loops. You have 4 loops on your hook, take them all off in one go. I'm just going to move these trebles up a bit because I need to make a second one there also. It's 1, 2, 3 chains, and then comes the second treble bobble. So again, 1, 2, 3, and take them all off. I'm going to do chain 3 and then repeat in the next space. So here we're going to do exactly the same as we've done there. So that's again a 3 treble bobble and 3, and take them off, chain 3, move this up a bit, and 1, 2, 3, take them off, chain 3, and then come to the last chain 4 space here and work again 2 of these 3 treble bobbles. That's 1, 2, 3 legs, which we take off, and then 1, 2, 3 chain, move your treble a bit, and then again 3 legs for the last 3 treble bobble. 1, this is the second post, and the third. 4 loops on your hook, you're going to take off, and then chain 3, and now we close here this round with a slip stitch in the second of these half trebles. Again, if you're in doubt where is the stitch you need, see, okay, from the back that's the last stitch work, then that there is the second last stitch. So if I turn to the front, it's that loop there. Yeah, this belongs to the last stitch, then that is the second last stitch. That's the one you need. It is very easy to make a mistake here and accidentally think that, for example, here, that is the loop you need, but this loop actually belongs to that stitch because we've worked from the other side here. We worked from this side when we were working row 8. So this completes the flower row. I'm going to cut my yarn, open this up, work away these yarn tails, and then we can work the second flower row. This is what your work looks like at the moment. For the second flower row, I'm using contrast color 6. So just check your kit which color that is for you. I'm going to attach the yarn with a slip stitch in the stitch just before where we did the previous round. So here was flower round 1. So here we go to attach flower row 2 with a slip stitch. Now this row isn't so much difficult as there is just a lot happening, and I'll take you through it as best I can. I'm going to start with the chain 4. 3, 4. Around this first treble bobble we have here, this 3 treble bobble, going to work a front post double crochet. So it's from the front. Around that bobble, work a front post double crochet. Chain 3. Now we're going to work a triple treble between these 2 bobbles in this space here. I'm just going to open that. So in this chain 4 space in there, going to work a triple treble, being sure to leave this this chain here to the back to not cover that. So like here. So triple treble, so that is 3 times over. Then in that space between the 2 bobbles there, so just push them apart. That will help you to get in there properly. And then the triple treble is nicely between them. Chain 3. Now around the next bobble here, again a front post double. And chain 3. Now we're going to work a front post triple treble around this flower petal here. This is from row 8. So I'm going to go 3 times over, and then around that flower petal from row 8, do a front post stitch. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Chain 3. So I'm going to do a chain 3 between all of your stitches here. Go to the next bobble and work a front post double crochet. And chain 3. Now between these next 2 bobbles, again a triple treble in there, so that's 1, 2, 3 times over for the triple treble. Insert, pick up, and do 1, 2, 3, 4 times, take off 2 loops. Chain 3. And here at the next bobble, again a front post double crochet. We're going to repeat again, so for here from the front post triple treble, going to repeat this again. So chain 3 around the flower petal from row 8, 3 times yarn over for a front post triple treble around that flower petal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 3. Around this bobble again a front post double, chain 3. Between these last 2 bobbles work a triple treble again in the space, being sure to leave the chain here to the back so you don't accidentally cover that. 2, 3, 4, chain 3, and now here on this last bobble work a front post double, chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and now we can close with a slip stitch here in the next stitch. This was where we closed round 1, so do round 2 in the next stitch with a slip stitch. At this point you can cut your yarn, open up, and can work away both of these yarn tails. And notice your work looks very full and a little cluttered. Don't worry about this. As we add more rows, we'll pull this up and open this up. But this is what your work looks like now. Flower round 3. What I'm going to do is with a slip knot on my hook, I'm going to work flower petals in the rounds that we just made. Now I've got contrast color 3 here, so just check your kit which color that is for you. For me it's this green color. So with the slip knots on my hook, I'm going to start with a standing front post double crochet around this flower petal from round 8. So around that stitch there. So that means around the stitch and then work the double crochet. Chain 3, come up here to this first front post double crochet. We're going to work another front post double around that. So around that stitch work a front post double. We're going to move to the triple treble here and work a flower petal in there. And in that stitch, that means we're going to work 3 trebles, chain 1 and 3 trebles. So in that stitch, work 3 trebles. That's 1, 2, 3 trebles, chain 1, and then 3 more trebles. 2 and 3. So that's a flower petal made. I'm going to move on to the next front post treble. Oh sorry, front post double crochet there, and work a front post double around that. I'm going to repeat this on all of these stitches. So all these triple trebles are going to get a flower petal, and all the front post doubles are going to get a front post double. So your next triple treble here, this happens to be a front post triple treble. And there work 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3, chain 1 and 3 trebles, all in the same stitch. next stitch is the front post here that gets another front post double. Repeat again. I'm going to go a little faster. You see, you now have 2 flower petals. So the next triple treble here gets another flower petal. So that's 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 1, 2, 3 trebles, then a front post double around the next front post double, and then go to the next stitch for the flower petal. So in the front post, this is a front post triple treble with 3 trebles, chain 1, and then again 3 trebles, and then we finished here. We have 4 flower petals, which means we'll have to make 1 more. So you now have 4 of them. Here around the front post, work another front post double, and then the last flower petal here in that triple treble. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 trebles, chain 1, followed by 3 more trebles in the same stitch. I have 1 front post double left, going to work a front post double around that. Chain 3. Now come down to this last flower petal from row 8. You see we've started with on the first one. We're going to finish here on the last one. And then around that again work a front post double. You can cut your yarn, pull through, and you can work away these yarn tails. This is what your flower looks like at the moment. We're going to leave it. We're going to start again here on the edge where we actually we're going to start in that stitch there, and then when we're going to build up the work behind our flower petals, and when we get to around 11 and 12 we're going to catch these flower petals and connect them to our work. Round 9, I'm going to use the main color. So for me it's this grey color, light grey. So just use your main color from your kit. We're going to start in the marked stitch on row 8. Remember we had to place a stitch marker between 2 stitches. Now that's also where we're going to start now. So I'm going to insert my hook in there and attach the main color with a slip stitch. At this point you can also remove the stitch marker because its purpose was to remind us where exactly to attach our yarn. Chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Now in the same space do a treble and 2 half trebles in that same space. So 1 and 2. So you've got a double treble, treble and 2 half trebles in that gap. On the next 17 stitches, going to make a half treble, and that will bring you right up to here, so up to that last stitch there. 17 half trebles. Just get into that first stitch there. It's an important stitch that you don't miss it. It's 1, 2, 3. Continue until you have 17 16 and 17. 17 half trebles. Your last stitch falls in this stitch just before here where you joined that color to make the flowers. We're now going to do is we're going to do a front post triple treble around this front post treble here. We worked a front post treble around 7 around this petal, and around that front post triple treble we're going to work another front post double. No, around that front post treble we're going to work a front post triple treble. Yes, that's it. So that means a 3 times yarn over, and then around that stitch work a front post and then triple treble. We need 2 of them, so another times the yarn over, and you can work in front of the next of your other stitch or to the back, doesn't really matter. I'm going to do the back here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those stitches, or 4 times taking off 2 loops. So you've got 2 front post triple trebles around this front post here from round 7. We're now going to work to the back of the flowers. Start with a chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you look at your work, you'll notice here to the back there are chain loops here. We're going to be working into some of them. Go to this, if you look at your flower, take the second flower petal, then to the back there will be a chain loop there. That's the one you need. We're going to work a double crochet in there. That means this first loop here you're going to skip. You're going to go to that second one. That's behind flower petal number 2. Work a double crochet in there. Chain 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we go to flower petal number 4, so this is the 4th one, and that loop that's there immediately to the back of flower petal number 4. That means you're going to skip a loop here and go to the next one, and again work a double crochet in there. Chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're now going to come to the other side and work again 2 front post triple trebles around this front post treble from round 7. So we're going to do the same on this side as we've done on that side. Now to get in that easier, really fold your flowers away for the moment that you can really get into that stitch there. So I'm going to do a 3 times yarn over, 2, 3, and then around that stitch work a front post triple treble. 4. And you need to do 2 of them, so again 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to stack this one before the other one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can just pop your flowers back out, and now you see that you've got this framework here to the back. Now we'll work in that in the next few rounds. I still need to work away a few yarn tails. On either side you've got these triple trebles framing the flower. It may look as though your flower is popping a bit more more forward, and that would be right, because from the back we're just squishing it a little bit. So that's your frame to the back. We're going to continue here, and in the next stitch on round 8 I'm going to work a half treble. So this is the stitch where you attached, so just going to go to the next one with the half treble, and this is again the first of 17. That's 1, this is 2, 3, no, it will bring you to the edge here, to the point. If you've got 17, so I'm just going to continue. And number 17 here is on that last stitch before the chain stitch. So now you've got 17, starting from there, you've got 17 half trebles. In the space between the last two stitches, work 2 half trebles, a treble, and a double treble. Turn my work, and in the space between the last two stitches, again work a slip stitch. Round 10, we're going to continue in the main color with a chain 4. 2, 3, 4. This counts as a double treble. Then in the chain space make another treble, or actually the chain space, the space between the two stitches, and then work 2 half trebles. So now I've got a double treble, treble, and 2 half trebles. Going to work 22 half trebles on the stitches, which will bring you here to the chain space. So you have the back of your work facing, and we're going to be working in those spaces. The first stitch, so be sure to get into that first stitch, because it could be slightly covered here by the stitches that you just made. So that's 1. You're going to work 22, 2, 3. A lot of these, the following rows are very relaxing because they're long stretches of stitches. 21 and 22. No, this is 22. My count was off. Let me just double check. So 22 half trebles, but let me just double check because I hope I just counted wrong. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20. Yes, 22. So I just miscounted somewhere, because your last stitch should fall in the stitch here before the chain space. That should be number 22. So 22 half trebles. Next, in the chain space, this chain 5 space, going to work 7 half trebles. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to move them up a little bit, but I can get 7 in there a bit better. 7. And just spread them out nice and even in that space. So 7 half trebles. The next space is a chain 6 space. Going to work 3 half trebles, chain 1, and 3 half trebles in here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 3 half trebles, chain 1, and then 3 more half trebles. 1, 2, 3. Now the chain 1 that's in between there, that's the new point of your triangle. So I'm just going to hook a stitch marker in there so that I know that that's the point of my triangle, but you don't have to. This is purely optional. So I'm just going to hook a stitch marker in there that I know that's my point of my triangle. Moving on to the next chain space, this one here, going to work again 7 half trebles in here. That's 1, 2, 3. Just move them up a bit. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, let me just again kind of spread them out, nice, distribute them evenly in that space. So 7, let me just check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yes, 7 half trebles. On the straight edge again, going to work 22 half trebles, and that will bring you here to the last stitch. So the first stitch is that one there, that's the very first stitch. 1, 2, work a half treble on 22 stitches. And the last one here, number 22, falls in the last stitch. Then between the last stitch and the last 2 stitches in between there, in that space, I'm going to work 2 half trebles, a treble and a double treble, and 3. Turn your work. You have now the right side facing, and then work a slip stitch in between those last 2 stitches. And we're ready for round 11. For round 11, you have the right side facing, and we're going to start with a chain 4. This is your first double treble. Then in this space, and there we work 2 trebles. So 1 and 2. We're going to work 35 trebles, so that's along this entire stretch, which will bring you here to the chain 1 space. Remember how we marked this? So with that, in that space, we're going to work a new corner. So we're going to work 35 half trebles, oh sorry, it's 35 trebles, 35 trebles, that's 1, so quite a stretch, 2, that will bring you to that chain space where we'll work a new corner. And if your stitch count is right, you'll work 35, it's quite a stretch. And the very last one here, number 35, is on that last stitch there. That is number 35. 35 trebles. Next up is the chain space, chain 1 space. In there, going to work a new corner. It's going to be a treble, chain 1, and a treble. I'm going to move the stitch marker to the new corner, that's chain 1 space. There you go. I'm going to come down on the other side and again work 35 trebles, which will bring me to the corner again. And that first stitch is that one there, that's the first one of 35. So this is a very relaxing round. 35 trebles. Almost to the end. Number 35, here's the last one on this last complete stitch. Your next stitch here is the chain stitch. Then in the space between these last 2, going to work 2 trebles and a double treble. Rotate your work, turn your work, and in that space between the last 2 stitches, there you go, work a slip stitch. Round 12, you have the wrong side of your work facing, and we're going to start with a chain 4. Then in the space, as we always do, we have this time only one treble to make. Only one treble in that space. Now on the next 28 stitches, work a treble. Here's the first one. And after these 28, we'll connect one of those flower petals to our work. So this is not going to bring you to the corner, so you need to stop earlier. So you really just need to count when you have 28 trebles. And then this is number 28. 28 trebles. In the next stitch we're going to work a treble, and we're going to connect the flower petals, the first of these flower petals, to our work. You see here you've got all 5 of them. They're at the back of your work at the moment, so you're going to have to fold your work forward, and that first flower petal through that chain 1 gap. That's how we're going to connect petal. So yarn over for the treble, insert in the next stitch, and through that chain 1 space of the flower petal, bring everything together and complete the treble. So now you've got that petal connected to your work. On the next 9 stitches we're going to work a half treble, and that will bring us here to the chain 1 corner space. So in the next stitch, work a treble. So that's a half treble, that's the first half treble. 1, this is 2, you'll work 9, 3, and the last one, number 9. So now I've got 9 half trebles. We're at the chain 1 corner space here. Going to work a corner in here. That's going to be a half treble, chain 1 and a half treble. But whilst we do that, we're also going to connect this flower petal here. So you just connected that first one. We're going to leave the second one for the moment. We'll do that in the next round. And then here, going to connect this flower petal also. So the third one we're going to be connecting. So in the chain space here, chain 1 space, yarn over for the half treble, insert your hook through the space, and also pick up that third flower petal. Then bring everything together and finish the half treble. Chain 1. I'm just going to remove the stitch marker, and now make another half treble through that same 2 stitches. So again, also through the flower petal to the on the front of your work, and complete the half treble. I'm just going to put the stitch marker back in that chain 1 space so that I can find it easier on my way back and I don't accidentally miss the corner. I'm going to come down and work 9 half trebles, and then we can catch the next flower petal. So on next 9 stitches, work a half treble. That's 1, 2, 3, and 9. Yeah, this is number 9. Let me just double check that I did that right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yes, 9 half trebles. In the next stitch we're going to work a treble, and we're going to catch flower petal number 5. If you look here to the front, you've now connected 1, you've connected 3, and we're going to connect 5. So number 1, 3 and 5 we're going to connect in this round. So I'm going to yarn over for the treble, insert in the next stitch, and pick up that flower petal. So also go through the chain 1 space of the petal. Bring everything together and complete the treble. Now we can have a bit of rest and relaxation. We're going to work 28 trebles until we get here and we work in this space. So 28 trebles. There's 1, 2, 3, and the last stitch. There we go, number 28 trebles. In the space between the last 2 stitches, you work a treble and a double treble. Turn your work right side facing with a slip stitch between those last 2 stitches there. Round 13, have the right side facing, and we're going to start with a chain 4. Twice over to work another double treble in the space. So you've got two double trebles next to each other. In the same space, 2 more trebles. This 1 and 2. Now on the first 6 stitches, going to work a treble. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. 6 trebles. On the next 28 stitches, we work a half treble, so a half treble on the next 28, and then we're going to connect a flower petal again. So work 28 half trebles. And the last one. There you go. 28 half trebles. In the next stitch, we're also going to work a half treble, but at the same time we're going to connect this flower petal. It's the second of the 5 flower petals, that one there. Yarn over, insert through the chain 1 space of the flower petal and the next stitch. Pull up your loop, make sure everything's nice and tight, and then work the half treble. And then you've connected this flower petal to your work. If all went well, you've got 5 stitches left until the next chain space for the corner. On those 5 stitches, work a half treble on each of those. 2, 3, 4, and the last one here. So you see there's 1 stitch left there before the chain space. That's an easy one to miss. The last one, that's 5. 5 half trebles. In the chain 1 space, we're going to work a new corner. It's a half treble, chain 1, and a half treble. Half treble, chain 1, and a half treble. I'm just going to move the stitch marker to the new corner. Like I say, you don't have to do this. I just like to do this so I don't accidentally just miss the corner. It helps me to keep track of where I am in my work. So put the stitch marker in the new chain 1 corner. I'm going to come down, and on the first 5 stitches work a half treble, and then we're going to connect this flower petal. That's the last one we still need to connect. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 5 half trebles. Yarn over and go through the flower petal and the next stitch. Bring everything together and then finish the half treble. Now you've got all your flower petals connected. Continue and work 28 half trebles, and then you'll be almost to the other corner. and almost finished with this round. 28 half trebles. 28 half trebles followed by 6 trebles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here number 6. 6 trebles. In the space between the last 2 stitches we work 2 trebles, followed by 2 half trebles, double trebles, the other way around, going up, 2 double trebles. There you go. I'm going to turn my work and make a slip stitch between those last 2 stitches. Round 14, last round of this part. I'm going to start with a chain 4 and in the space work 2 trebles and 2. On the first 5 stitches we work a treble, especially this first one. Also, you might want to roll your work forward that you can really see where that stitch is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is the last treble. 5 trebles on the first 5 stitches. On the next stitches work a half treble, that's 9 stitches. That will bring you to the chain 1 corner space. I'm going to work a half treble on all of these stitches. To left, this is the second last stitch and the last half treble, just in that stitch before the chain 1 space. In the chain 1 space, work a new corner. It's going to be a half treble, chain 1, and a half treble. It's going to move the stitch marker to the new corner. That's in the new chain 1 corner space. I'm going to come down again and work another set of 9 half trebles. 1, 2, and then you're going to be almost to the end, so 9 half trebles. And the last one. There we go, number 39 half trebles. On the last stitch is going to work a treble. That's going to be on the next 5 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one here, 5. In the space between the last 2 stitches, going to work 2 trebles and 2 trebles and a double treble. At this point you can cut your yarn and pull through. You can work away this yarn tail. It's one thing. Put a stitch marker between the last 2 stitches that you just worked. Just put a stitch marker in there. There you go. That's to help you find this position later on. So work away this yarn tail as well as any other yarn tails that you might still have. When you finish round 14, this is what your work looks like. You'll notice the triangle, mine curves a little bit and this edge is really wobbly. Don't worry about either of these. If you want to, you can block your work to straighten this out and pull up this square, or the triangle I should say, but you can also just leave it. When we put this in the blanket, it'll be fine. You won't notice any of this when it's connected to the rest of our diamonds and works away in the blanket. I've now shown this for one triangle with you, so the flowers here and these background rounds. You need to do the same on your other 5 triangles also, so you're making 6 identical triangles just like this. So do this on your other 5 also. Work away any yarn tails you might have. That is nice and crisp to the back. If you want to see what your work looks like from the back, this is what mine looks like. Just to give you an idea what you're aiming for. How it's all worked away here and nice and tight. That's what you're going for. And then look at your work from the front. You can really see this lovely flower that we've made. Brings us to the end of part 5. I hope to see you next time for part 6.